Well, over the last 3 years in Chicago, Anaheim, and Houston, the U.S. Chamber and the Business Civic Leadership Center and Siemens have been really proud partners in working together to give away the Siemens Sustainable Community Awards. They're a great recognition of best practices across the country in terms of sustainable development and how companies and communities are working together to make a difference. Well, I'll tell you, when you ask how important public-private partnerships are when communities are making the effort to be sustainable, you can't do it if you don't have the public-private partnerships. You know, these are the kinds of things, when you're talking about the environment, that it's bigger than any single company, that's bigger than any single municipality, really. It's the kind of thing where you need to think about how you work together as a team to get important goals done. Look, the best answer that I can give you is, for sustainability, is that you're leaving the planet in a better place than when you found it. You know, that doesn't just mean about the environment, though. That might mean about bringing new ideas together and creating innovations. It might mean better design. You know, when you think about how our communities are today compared to the way that they were 50 years ago or 100 years ago, there have been enormous economic and environmental progress in some cases, and in some cases not. The best programs, the best projects are the ones that are able to create a win-win, so that you're able to get both environmental outcomes that you want to have and economic outcomes. Look, this is what I hope for sustainability 5 years from now, 10 years from now, is that we think about it in a different way. You know, sustainability is not the same thing as just focusing on the environment or just focusing on whether or not you've got a perpetual motion machine. Sustainability is really thinking about things in a way that is smarter, that embraces innovation, that creates what economists call an economics of abundance as opposed to an economics of scarcity. What we're hoping to do down the road is not have a situation where we're worrying about depleting resources. What we're hoping is that we're creating smarter ways of doing things so that we're able to live better within the ecosystems in which we operate. Let me tell you a couple of stories about some of the cities that we're recognizing tonight. Greensburg, Kansas was devastated by, I think it's an F5 tornado, the worst category of tornado that there is. And yet it has been rebuilt, redesigned from the ground up using green building principles and green planning principles. And it's one of those situations where it wasn't just the mayor, it wasn't just the governor, it wasn't any single entity. It was the town, the people, the businesses, all of them coming together to try and create a new system. Let me tell you a story about the large city that we're honoring today, San Jose, California. San Jose is really a great American story in terms of being a boom town. You know, Silicon Valley, we're so used to using it as an expression now, but it didn't exist before 1950. And yet, with all of that growth and with all of those opportunities that come together, sometimes communities can develop in terms of sprawl and can develop in terms of one piece not connecting with another. What San Jose really did is that they were very intentional about their work, and they had the business community sitting down with community leaders and regional urban planners to say, hey, what do we want this city to look like in 5, 10, 15 years from now? It's that intentionality, I think, that's going to mark the cities that succeed for tomorrow. Well, Raleigh is another great case study. You know, back in the 1950s, the governor of North Carolina and a handful of business leaders got together and they said, we need to create a research park. And at that time, North Carolina was known for being predominantly agricultural and one of the lowest income states in the country. Fast forward 50 years, and they created the Research Triangle Park, Raleigh has become a byword in smarter business and in smarter collaboration between the public and the private sectors. And today, with the Research Triangle Park set between Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, they've created a national center for enterprise that's generated thousands of jobs, paying much more than the national average in income. But beyond that, they've managed to keep their natural environment alive and well. And in fact, they will tell you, the business leaders in Raleigh will tell you that that's one of their competitive advantages.
So what do...
Well, I think that when you look at what the three communities that we're honoring tonight have in common, I would say that one of those things is the willingness and openness to dialogue, an openness to communicate. The second thing that all three communities have in common is a sense of vision. And the third element that they have in common is this idea that you don't have to necessarily sacrifice your economic vitality while trying to protect and provide for your environmental framework as well. So I think that those are the three things that they all have in common. I think what you're also seeing is that this is part of a trend that an increasing number of communities across the country are starting to embrace. One of the things that happens is that there are literally thousands of communities across the United States, and there are any number of different laboratories for trying to experiment and try new things out. What the awards do is that they create an incentive for some of the most innovative communities in the country to share their ideas. And if we do our job right, we'll take these award winners of today and share them with many communities who might embrace these exact same ideas tomorrow.